Okay, so for today's showcase, we got a couple different things, as per usual, plenty to go over, and like with a couple showcases ago, I think I mentioned just how many different items we got. That might have been last showcase actually, but either way, we have a ton of different stuff, and I'm still not even like halfway through it. I think it's just so much stuff, and you'll probably be able to see somewhere on the screen as something of a teaser that there is one of those new things. I'll let you guys find that. I think it'll be pretty easy. But regardless, first of all, I just want to say this is coming out a little bit late. It's coming out a day later than usual, and I don't really like making excuses, but my work blew up, uh, and I spent basically the entire day dealing with that. It like literally exploded, like caught fire, blew out the windows, and now I don't work there anymore. So that was a very big deal for quite a while. So I'm just asking you guys to understand. If anything, it's probably a good thing for you guys, just because while I'm looking for a different job, hopefully a much better one, because that one wasn't the best, we will have way more time to code. So hopefully that's a good thing for you guys. It's not really a terrible thing for me. It's not really a great thing for me either, but it's ups and downs, I guess. Regardless, I just thought in case you guys didn't know or you didn't see on the just in the channels, I figured I'd update you in case you weren't aware. So that's that. Again, not really a big deal. Just wanted to let you guys know and probably let you know that we'll be a little bit more up to date, or I'll at least have a little bit more time to work on the game while I'm looking for a job and everything. So that's good, I think. And other than that, I think we're ready to get started. So I'm going to go ahead and walk down here. And the first thing you'll probably see, assuming you're a little bit vigilant, sorry, tongue's not working today, are these shrubs. And these shrubs are not meant to be all of the same type. As you can see, all four of these are the same type, here, 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 and here. That is remarkably unfortunate. Not really unfortunate, I guess, just unlucky for me because I'm trying to show them all off, so I'm going to quickly reload. But what you can notice is, what you will notice is these, are you serious? Okay, almost all of them again. This is fine, I can work with this though. Okay, so as you can see, these will grow at a really accelerated rate. So you can see them kind of spawning up now and everything. That's normal. The reason that that's happening is because I've accelerated them, obviously, and they just reached their matured state. So this one is a church bell plant, or herb, I guess. This one is a bloodroot. This one over here, I think I have one. Oh no, that's also a bloodroot. Okay. Again, it's just RNG being crazy. But I will show you guys the fruit themselves. So, or fruits, I should say. So they have a growth state, and this is kind of the gimmick of alchemy, or going to be the gimmick of alchemy. So ore is very reliable now. That's another thing I want to show off, but I'll talk about that in a second. Gems are going to be a little bit rare, so you won't find gem nodes. These are ore nodes up here for the record, and then these are gem nodes. You won't find gem nodes as often, but you can now get geodes from ore nodes when you mine them, and it's a very low chance, but then you'll be able to take those geodes to a grindstone, and then you basically just get a regular gem from that, the same way that you would from mining a gem node. So you sort of kind of intermix a little bit, which is kind of the gimmick I'm going with there. So gems are a little bit rarer, but at the same time not really, and also the gems are going to be more useful than the ore, so I'm trying to balance that out. Ores, like I said, are more reliable. I'll go more into that in a second because they're the harvestable item I've worked on the most since last showcase. And then herbs are going to be a little weird because there are going to be some herbs, like these bloodroot herbs, and then this church bell herb. There are actually 4 total that I'll show off. But anyway, those are going to be special, basically, so they'll be special for potions. And then I'm going to have kind of just like a shrub, I guess, that you can harvest from, and those shrubs will contain kind of generic herbs, so the stuff that you just need a lot of, stuff you don't really care about, and those will kind of work the same way old ore used to, wherein you can't see what's in them, but because it's not really that important of a thing, I don't think it really matters if you can see them, if it's just a generic thing you just want to have a lot of, if that makes sense. So, that's cool. I'll go ahead and stop talking and grab one of them for you guys now. So, if you walk up and click it once, you'll see this stuff up here. I just ask that you ignore that right now. Not important. I can go into my inventory here, and this is bloodroot. As you can see, it kind of expands past. I kind of like that. I'm not totally opposed to that. I kind of like the 3D feel it gives. I do need to restrain it for some stuff like swords, but that's beside the point. I'll post these descriptions here so you guys can read them as we go through. But it's pretty basic. They're I really like these sprites a lot. Zane made these, like I said the other day. This is a church bell, like I said initially. You can read that here if you feel like it. And again, this is like the fruit or whatever, I guess you could say. And I'm going to quickly reload, so I'll give you guys another second or two to read that, and pause it and read. And then we'll reload, and hopefully we won't get 5 million blood root, and we didn't. Okay, good. We actually got the other two. That's fantastic. So the other two are corpus fruit and precantia, or precantio, I think. One of the two. Can't remember my own name. As you can see, they grow through these different states, and then at their fullest state, we can harvest it. And these are meant to only have one life, I think. That's my intention with it anyway. However, right now they're 3 life, just because I've copied over the node code. Or I shouldn't say I've copied. It's not really copied in the traditional sense. It's just that all of the nodes are of the same type, and up until this point, all of the nodes have had 3 life, which means they have 3 hits, and you can harvest from them 3 times. So not really copied, just kind of that they inherited that amount of life, I guess, when I made them. Anyway, I can go ahead and hit them again. So this is Precantia. Okay, I was right. So you can read that again. I like this one a lot. This one's going to be like the sort of magical flower, if that makes sense. This is going to be the not sure how to pose it really, but you know, the enchantment related flower for alchemy. And then this melon looking fruit up here is a corpus fruit. So I can post that here. You can read that too. And these don't have rarity set. These don't have stat multiplier set yet. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to handle that with alchemy, because obviously you want those stat multipliers to really affect potion effects, not really stats. So we'll see about that. I'm not totally sure on how to handle that. We might have it handled in a unique way. Again, not sure yet, so we'll see in the future. Anyway, I think that's pretty cool. I think that's actually really cool, because I hammered that out in probably 30 minutes or so. That's not, you know, I guess it is the main part of the showcase, but I'm just really proud of how fast that went, how cleanly that went. It really was pretty simple and pretty easy, just because of how I built the other nodes, so I'm happy about that. However, I do want to go into a couple other things, and it's going to get a little bit more technical, but I think that at first it's not really going to matter, because there's some stuff that I think everyone should know. So, of course, you saw with these herbs that I've added descriptions, and the same is true for ores. I haven't added any for gems yet, but almost all of the ore we have in game right now do have descriptions as well as alloys, but you can't create alloys yet, because I still need to add the little menu that pops up when you click this furnace up here. Anyway, so if I go ahead and mine this, you see all this stuff. It's a bunch of numbers, don't worry about it. I'll explain that in a minute once you can escape from the technical half of the video, or portion of the video, I should say. Anyway, so this is copper. And I realized there was this bug. Last time I was talking about all these different stat mutations and stuff, but I realized that by default, Velocity's random function, which is not a fault of Veek or anybody, it's just I didn't realize that's how it functioned. It isn't decimal, or it doesn't have decimal precision, I should say. And what that means is if I was trying to get a random number between 0 and 0.5, it would return 0 or 1, which is not intended, and the reason for that is just because of efficiency. So I fixed that, and now as you can see here, if I click this, I'll record the stat multipliers down here. If I drop this, and then if I grab another copper ore, and then I print this for you guys, you can see it actually varies quite a bit, and it actually varies with much more precision than it used to. I added another digit to the level of precision for these stat multipliers so you can see a little bit further. Previously you would say like +1 times or something, and that'd be in the green. You'd be like, well, why? Like, why is that in the green? Because it's just +1 times. So I've added more precision to that. Like in this case down here, you wouldn't be able to tell why that was green. So obviously I think it just goes without saying. So that's one thing. So there's now way more precision there, which is obviously a good thing. There's also way more precision with the actual mutation itself. So it's a random number of stats that are, or stat multipliers that are changed now, and this is way higher of a mutation rate and of a mutation amount than will be in the actual game. As you can see here, it's literally varying by about 2 times here, and that's because it's 50% mutation rate. So you don't have to worry about that too much. What's going on up here, and this is a little bit technical, but I feel like I can explain it pretty well. Basically, there's a default stat multiplier ratio for each item that the game pulls from, and that's what it mutates. So after it mutates, it just records the ratio of the stat multipliers versus the base, multipliers, and then it modifies the rarity by that amount. So you can't see it here in this case, but it does say up here. So the rarity here is 37, which is uncommon quality, as is 28. However, what this is saying is basically that every copper ore should be 37 rarity, roughly, and then it's getting 28 rarity instead because of its low stat quality, because of the mutations. So this is what I was talking about last showcase, I believe, maybe showcase before last, where we're going to have it so that, or we do have it, I guess, so that if you have a bunch of crappy stat multipliers on ore or an item, then it lowers the quality, and of course the opposite is true as well. So if you have a bunch of great, stat quality, stat multiplier qualities, the quality of the item itself goes up, which is part of the idea, with all the crafting system and everything. So I think that's pretty cool. It's a very simple idea, but I think it's executed pretty well, and also I hope I've been able to explain it pretty well as well. I didn't write a script this time or anything, but at the same time I wanted to kind of freehand it just because I feel like that's a little bit more genuine, and I've tried explaining this so many different times, even to myself, that I feel like I've gotten a little bit better at explaining it. So that isn't the only thing. That is one thing, but the kind of critical change I've made to ore in general, ore harvesting, in this update is now you can see what you're going to get out of it. I think that's actually a gem node, isn't it? Yeah, it's a gem. They're a little bit confusing. I think I'm going to swap most of them to use this spread over here on the left side of the screen, this purple one, just because it's a little more indicative of a gem node. But down here, I believe this is iron. Should be iron. Yeah, so that's iron. And the idea with this is, of course, that I want people to be able to see what they're mining, because it's a little bit frustrating if you can't. And I totally get that. I understand that 100%. So if you're running around, you no longer just have to guess what's inside an ore. You'll still be able to, or you will now be able to see what the actual ore is. Now the counter to that is what happens if people just ignore all the iron ore in the world. Well, we're gonna have daily resets. I haven't implemented them yet, but essentially whenever the day ticks over or something, if ore hasn't been walked around or interacted with in a certain amount of time, it'll just reset to a different type of ore. That way we don't have basically all of the ore in the world being iron because no one wants it, as opposed to something like nictite or stellarite or something like that. So pretty simple, but I think also really important, and I think that I wanted to note that to you guys just because I don't think you would have noticed otherwise. So that's pretty important. And another thing I'm going to show down here is that if you mine this entire plant, of course the particles need to change too. It will respawn in a second. There you go, and it'll start growing again. So that's pretty simple. I think that's all well and good. I know someone's going to ask if you can farm them. Right now I have no intent to allow people to farm herbs. I might allow people to, if we have food before the launch, like developed food and everything, of course, I might allow people to farm those. I think that's fine. I don't think there's really any issues with that. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but farming herbs is just kind of not great, because you end up farming so many herbs and then alchemy just becomes either really good or really bad because of that, because everyone can just hoard herbs that are normally kind of rare, and ore is rare, gems are rare, and then herbs are supposed to be the counterpart to those two, so there's no real reason to make them farmable, in my opinion. They should also be rare. As for the actual shrub herbs, like generic herbs later on, not sure. We might make those farmable. I don't know. That's like a later decision though. So I think that's everything. Again, sorry for the delay. We have a surprise party for my grandpa today, or tomorrow I should say, which is the day that I'm uploading this, so Sunday. And then of course my job blew up today, which is Saturday. So I just had to upload it a little bit late. I hope you guys understand. I felt like it would be a little bit better I feel like it would be a little bit better to post this tomorrow night, saying Sunday night, rather than posting it tonight just because it's so late already. So I feel like more people will see it, blah blah blah, etc., etc. Yeah, so very simple stuff for the most part. I hope you guys understand the rarity stuff. Again, as per usual, if you have any questions, feel free to at me. I can explain whatever you want, in as much detail as you want to, of course. And I think that's everything. I think it should be everything. I have done a couple tweaks up here. There's some other stuff I was tweaking up here with the equipment slots. So we now have a bunch of different slots for, say, chest, legs, boots, head. Those are, we've had them, but they're tested, basically, and they work. And I even tested them with multiple slots. So if I wanted to ever have 2 head slots or something like that, I could do that, because I felt like having that kind of redundancy was pretty important. So those are thoroughly tested. We have the herbs now. We have ore. Everything's done with that for the most part. So I think next time I'm going to be working on maybe the alloys. I really want to get back into alloys, but I'm just dreading it so much because I have to rip up some other code I wrote. It's literally going to be a 30-minute process, but it's just I never like having to rewrite that code in the first place. I always try to find ways around having to rewrite it. Blah 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 blah. It's just a little frustrating sometimes. So whatever, I'm gonna get it done regardless. I'm excited to do it. I'm excited to have it done with. So look forward to that. Hopefully I'll be able to do some more recipes too. I'm really looking forward to putting in geodes, the geode recipes that is, to get the gems out of it. I think that'll be fun. We'll probably also have some functionality with the crafting stations so that you can only craft those recipes near those stations. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I realize I'm at like 60 minutes now, but it was kind of a special day just because there's so much stuff, and there's still so much stuff to do. There's spells, geodes still need to be in. We have more items that I can't remember, potions I think. We just have so much stuff that I still have to add. We're, like I said, halfway done, so expect lots of new stuff. Probably none of what I just said will be in the next showcase, and instead I'll just have a crazy different thing going on. But regardless, there will be new content, so I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys look forward to that new content, and I hope you have a good day.